Hey guys, it's Mike here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review for Black Panther. Black Panther is the newest entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starring Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, the titular Black Panther and newly crowned king of the hidden but highly technological African kingdom of Wakanda. As the leader of this ancient kingdom, T'Challa must figure out the best way to lead his people into the new age, while enemies both foreign and domestic seek to upend his rule. Now, there was a lot of hype surrounding this film before I saw it, as this film is a big event not only cinematically but culturally as well, and some people have been hailing this as the best MCU movie thus far. However, I tried to keep lowered expectations going into this film as I do with most other films, and I'm happy to say that it was really good. Now first off, let's get into the direction. This film was directed by Ryan Coogler, who also directed Creed and Fruitvale Station, and he really does a great job here. Whether it be scenes of character building or action sequences, Coogler's strong sense of direction really helps bring the world to life. And that's another one of the best aspects of this film, as the land of Wakanda is brought to life in a strong way. We're immersed in the country, learning about their culture, history, and traditions. Seeing how technologically advanced they are, and how they use vibranium in a variety of ways is really cool, as is learning of their mythology, especially surrounding the Black Panther. And it really feels like a place you'd want to travel to and spend some time in. And that's one of the best compliments I feel like you can give when it comes to creating a fictional world. Now, when it comes to the characters in this film, the acting also is very strong. Chadwick Boseman gives a strong performance as T'Challa. After his father T'Chaka's death in Captain America Civil War, T'Challa becomes the newly crowned king of his people. And seeing as he learns what it is to be a king and how to best lead his people while also balancing the Black Panther is very compelling. But his new position doesn't come without resistance, and seeing how T'Challa confronts this while also trying to stay true to who he is really interesting. And like with many of the actors who play these superhero roles, Boswick's performance gets better with each time he plays the character. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger was also one of the standout roles. Being the primary antagonist of the film, you can actually relate to and understand his motivations behind why he is who he is and the actions he takes. However, I feel that perhaps he could have used more scenes earlier in the film because for a little while he kind of disappears. But Jordan is great, and I'm happy that he's been able to recover after Fan 4 Stick, because he's a great actor and it really would have been disappointing if his career had come to an end because of that film. Daniel Kaluuya as W'Kabi was also a standout for me in this film, as he is a friend of T'Challa. However, a long-standing personal problem comes between the two, and this creates some of the conflict in the film. I really liked Kaluuya's work in Get Out and Sicario as well as in this film, and I look forward to seeing his work in the future. And another bit of casting I thought was cool was that they had both Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis in the same film together, once again reuniting Bilbo and Gollum. However, I was a little disappointed in how the Claw was used in the film. He was one of the main villains, and I really like how Andy Serkis played his character, but in some ways he does feel wasted. But aside from a few examples, the acting and overall character utilization was very good in this film. Another thing I really liked was the score. The music in the film has a combination of cultural, African-inspired music as well as tracks from Kendrick Lamar, who released a Black Panther album in addition to this film. And as a fan of Lamar, I really like the inclusion of some of these tracks. All of the music in this film really helped to create an even richer atmosphere, and that's definitely something that heightens the film experience. Now, as far as the Marvel tie-ins go, some of the MCU films are dragged down by this. A big example for me would be Iron Man 2, as well as the ending of the first Captain America. But this film works mostly on its own merits. Of course, Martin Freeman's character shows up in it, and it takes place after the events of Civil War, which sets up a lot of what happens in this film, but most of this film deals with T'Challa, Wakanda, and their people's potential impact on on the world. Now, I wouldn't have minded perhaps some more cameos or some more fan service, but this film was really fine without them. As for any other issues, the ending did feel a little bit too overbooked, to use a wrestling term. I liked a lot of what was happening, but it sort of reverts to the typical giant battle at the end that happens in many comic book films. Also, there is a lot of CG in this film, as with most Marvel films, which isn't always the most realistic, but I don't think any of the cons with the film really detract from it that much. Now, with all of this being said, is this really the best MCU film? I wouldn't say so. It's a strong film and one of the best solo films, but for me, it didn't quite reach the levels of a film like Winter Soldier or Civil War. But for a first film, it's a great entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm going to give Black Panther an 8 out of 10. I'm really looking forward to seeing T'Challa in action in Avengers Infinity War and seeing what lies in store for him in the future of the MCU. With such a strong first entry, a future sequel has very strong potential, and I definitely recommend seeing this one, whether it be in theaters or on Blu-ray. But personally, I always prefer the theatrical experience. So what did you think of Black Panther, and what was your favorite moment in the film? Let me know down below. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you could see all of my content right away when it comes out.
Yes, and you'd better subscribe and enable those notifications.